everyone, and welcome back to Ava's Dream Chronicles. I will read to y'all a story called Chapter 8, The Hero's Powers. I showed y'all the illustrations in my last video where it was a carnival and a dolphin and a fish in the corner. So remember, none of these stories will make sense unless you watched my earlier episodes. Yeah. And so I will begin. I hope I've made that clear, that none of these will make sense. So, the hero's powers. Whew, finally got my super smooth gel pens, not those wimpy ballpoints. One time I went to bed and dreamt that I'm at a fair on a beach. It was absolutely beautiful. There was a tiny roller coaster. Well, I guess it wasn't really tiny, but a carousel, a Ferris wheel, you know, the things you would see in a fair. So I'm walking around wishing I had money to play a game or tickets or something, so because I can't really do anything right now, I look for a way out. But before I leave, someone called me out. Hey! Hey you! Hey! He called out. I turned around from the carnival or fair's exit, and I saw my friend, the hero. He was still dressed modern. He still had a modern haircut, but something about him seemed changed, like less dunga. Dunga is my own word for crude, and dunga is a word that means stupid in Danish, but I use it like that. So I ran to see what he wanted. I wasn't too glad to see him because of a previous dream I had that was a little embarrassing, dealing with a meeting with my professor set up for me. I'll write that one down later. It's really nothing, but I wasn't. It was just like the more I ran into him, the more drama would come up in the dream. So, I still want to see him, but except for this time. In fact, it almost seemed too. Oh wait. I made my way through the crowd he was in, but it almost seemed too thick for him to get out. But as people came and went, I eventually reached him. Hi, what is it? I said. So we walked to the roller coaster where there were less people to talk, and he said he should explain some things. So he told me that, yes, he was from the Middle Ages, but the only reason that he was here now was because he got a powerful wizard, the only one there, to transport his evil uncle to this place so he couldn't harm anyone anymore. Unfortunately, that also meant transporting himself. But unfortunately, he didn't think that his uncle would still be powerful enough with very light circumstances from his original world to get him and his friends. He doesn't know why his friends are here. He doesn't know why everyone else in that land is here, but somehow they're all here. So, he's still enemies with his uncle, and his uncle's still trying to catch him, and his friends are helping him. But somehow they always escape. He'll get him yet, the hero said. It was a mistake coming here, but at least I could see you, he said, smiling like a doofus. So I nodded, not knowing what to say to that. Another thing, he said. I have powers now, so I could be a hero nowadays. I grew excited. Well, that's awesome, I said. How'd you get them? He said, well, I jumped from a really high place. He pointed to the roller coaster. So, not questioning anything, because it's a dream, I climbed to the top of it, and without a second thought, I climbed to the top and stand up. Now jump off into the water, he shouted from below. Looking at the water, I jump off. I fall and fall and fall and land in the water. I presently turned into a dolphin. So, the hero, seeing transport, ran into a dock and jumped off. He landed in the water and turned into a fish. It was a little fish. It was gray and it was lame. Cool, I guess I'm a shapeshifter, I said. He swam beside me. We went pretty far out into the sea. That was really fun. Being a dolphin means you can swim really fast and laugh in a funny way and jump up really high from out of the water. But we swam close to the beach again, and I said to my small fish friend, well, this is fun. Now how do you change back? I don't know, he replied. This is my first time being a fish. Oh, great. So what does that mean? Are we going to stay this way forever? I don't know. How can you be so carefree like that? So, After swimming a little more, I found out that you turn back into a person when you stop coming into contact with water, which happened once I flopped myself onto the dock and turned back. So the hero like jumped out as well, and he flopped on the deck with me, but like he stayed a fish. I turned back into a person, and so I just looked at him and thought of him flopping on the fish, flopping on the deck as a wet fish. Loser. He can't even figure it out. So eventually he turned back into a boy. He looked up at me and we started laughing. We stayed on the dock to dry off, and then we went to go, and then I asked him like, what other powers can you do? He said this and a little bit of flying, but this was the longest he had ever maintained it. So this was the best power he could do, apparently. Turning into a fish. So yeah, we stayed on the dock to dry off and then went to spend time at the fair. So we bought a popcorn and passes to play games, and we ended up knocking down that pin game, the stacked bottles, and I eventually had a lot of fun when I woke up. I will now show y'all the illustrations. So yeah, that character was really serious in the first dream I ever had him in, but then when like he started showing up here in this dream world, like my life, he ended up becoming less serious, more carefree, and so he started showing up in my dreams a lot, and always he was like doofusy. And like this dream where he had powers, it didn't last long. It only lasted I guess one other dream, and then the next dream we ran into his uncle, and his uncle is a criminal, and like a criminal, and there's magic that exists in my dream world, and so he did magic, and something goes wrong with the hero. Like we didn't like realize it at first, but I'm sorry, I didn't realize it at first, but every time he deals with magic, the hero, spoilers, he backfires, and it always ends up much, much worse for him. So the uncle ended up taking away those powers, even though the powers didn't really work well. He didn't have them for long. The next story is going to be a lot more fun. It's gonna have to do with Vikings. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I will see you all next time. Please consider liking and subscribing. Bye.